You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's Walk the Talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the Clement Manyathela Show on this Wednesday, the 10th day of December. It's great to have you with us here on 702. I trust you're well this morning. So, we've decided to postpone our year-end review that we had planned for today on the show because we had some unforeseen circumstances yesterday, because planning outside broadcasts can be that complicated. But we'll still do it on another day once the issues are resolved. But thank you so much to all of you that have RSVP'd. I know me and my colleagues were so looking forward to it. But we'll still do it, and we'll give you the details of the new date. We kick off the show, though, with the 702 open line. You can give us a call on 011-883-0702 or send us a WhatsApp on 072-702-1702. Don't you miss the Madlanga Commission or the Parliamentary Committee? And how are you doing without those commissions or inquiry? Do you miss the hearing? Because I do. And I bet you some of you who used to follow them religiously are probably having some withdrawal issues as well. Are you one of those that used to follow the commissions? And how did you balance work, if you are working, or school, if you're studying, with the testimonies at these commissions? I think we haven't really paid too much attention to the Nkabinde inquiry. And there have been fireworks there too. I played you some clips from that commission yesterday. Have you been watching the Nkabinde inquiry, or were you stuck with the Madlanga Commission or the parliamentary inquiry? And which one had your attention? Give us a call or send a WhatsApp voice note. And do you think the ANC renewal program is bearing fruit? You may have seen and heard this buzzword renewal at the ANC's National General Council taking place in Boksburg. ANC members and leaders have gathered there to review the organization's performance as well as those of its leaders. And as expected, the renewal agenda is the theme of the forum. Listen to what President Cyril Ramaphosa said as he was reminding members of the ANC and leaders about the need to renew the organization.
The ANC's program of organizational renewal is showing progress. The SG will report on this in the medium-term report that he will present shortly. There is still important work to be done, and the movement must continue to attend to both organizational and ideological renewal. And unless the ANC succeeds in renewing itself, we will perish. We must build better and activist branches. We must revive sectorial work. We must strengthen the alliance. We must reassert ANC values and principles and strengthen organizational integrity. The ANC appointed the first renewal commission during 2017 and 2022 term, with a main brief to develop an ANC Vision 2032. The discussion document on the vision was completed and presented to the NEC and the National Conference in 2022. Vision 2032 will be made available to NGC delegates to consider as part of their commission deliberations. The second renewal commission highlights the need to continue strengthening the key elements as parts of renewal. And these include organizational design, cadre development, integrity, and revolutionary morality.
Integrity, the president says. Here is the ANC veteran, Jeff Khadebe, also speaking about the renewal agenda at the NGC.
What is very important is that the coming local government elections in 2026 will be the litmus test of showing whether this rebuilding and renewal program is bearing fruit. But we are very confident with the dynamism of the people that are there, especially young people and women who are part of those who are putting their shoulders to the wheel to drive this program of renewal.
Do you think the renewal agenda of the ANC is bearing fruit? And what does the ANC have to show for this renewal agenda, which the party has been talking about for so many years? What does the ANC have to show for that? I mean, I think it would be unfair to argue that nothing has happened. And maybe the problem here is that implementation maybe has been slow. But the party has been preaching the message too loud, but the implementation has probably been quite slow. So what's your assessment of the ANC's renewal agenda? Do you think it's taken shape? Do you think the ANC has demonstrated its seriousness about renewal, about cleansing the party? Tony Leon actually wrote an interesting opinion piece on News 24 today, titled Ramaphosa's Renewal Deja Vu. Same pitch after 13 years of failed delivery. It's quite an interesting piece. You must check it out if you can. But let me know what your thoughts are on the renewal agenda of the ANC. Has it taken shape? What do you think the ANC has to show for it? What has it done to demonstrate it's serious about renewal and cleansing the organization? Give us a call on 011-883-0702. I'll take your WhatsApps as well on 072-702-1702. And then the interviews for South Africa's next NPA head are officially beginning today. And this marks quite an important moment for the NPA because Shamila Batohi prepares to retire in January next year. So we had a total of 32 people applying for this position, and an advisory panel has shortlisted 6 candidates who met all the requirements. In fact, the 6 candidates are not really shortlisted. They are the only ones out of the 32 that meet the minimum criteria. And the Minister of Justice was actually telling me about 2 weeks ago during an interview that this is concerning. She said that, people think that the job is a poison chalice. She says that some other people are afraid of what's happening at the different inquiries where the NPA head is asked some really tough questions during testimony. But also, there's the issue of a salary for the head of the NPA, because that's another deterrent. It's not competitive. In fact, the minister said that what she wants to do is to start engagements with the president to try and see if they can make that salary competitive. But yeah, so those being interviewed are Nicolette, Bell, Hermione Cronier, Andrea Johnson, Olisile Jennifer Kanyile, Adrian Mop, and the former NDPP Menzi Simelane. The interviews are taking place today and tomorrow in Pretoria, and the new appointment will obviously play a key role in shaping the future of the prosecuting authority. So all eyes are going to be on the panel's final recommendations in the coming weeks. And I want to know if you have a favorite for the position of NDPP to replace Batohi from this list of 6 people. But also, I wonder on a lighter note, if you've ever gone through a tough interview process where there was a lot of scrutiny. What was that like for you? What's been the toughest interview process you have gone through? And out of these candidates, is there anyone here that you feel could do the job much, much better of NDPP? Give us a call or send a WhatsApp voice note.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM.
No, Clement, I do miss the commission, even though I don't have an opportunity to listen to everything, but I listen in between because of work. So yeah, no, I do miss it. I don't miss the ad hoc. Ad hoc, I just think it's just, I don't know. It's like people are laughing, giggling there. And I'm not saying it's got no part in our democratic, processes, but I just find it to be a bit playful. It's just playful.
And I mean, that's a political process. So of course, politicians are going to be grandstanding. But there have been some important moments at the ad hoc committee, no? I think there have been some moments. I mean, we've spoken before on the open line about some of the members of parliament that have been quite impressive with the questions they've been asking. But also, yeah, some of them have been grandstanding. At the end of the day, it's a political process, and we did warn about this from the beginning. You should expect that politicians and even parties, that's why we've even had a discussion that you can tell from the questions members of parliament are asking in the ad hoc committee as to which side they are on and which witness or which testimony they're against or they believe. It's almost like it's a position the organization has taken. But that's what happens in parliament. That's why there are caucus meetings, because you get told what the position of the party is on certain issues, including on the matter of the ad hoc committee and the people who often come to testify. So I get you. There have been some moments at the ad hoc committee that I thought were so key. But I also think at the Madlanga Commission, especially in the beginning, there were moments where it was lukewarm. The robust questions were not there. You know, I've expressed that frustration here. I think some of the listeners have as well. But of late, you know, it's been fascinating listening to and watching the Madlanga Commission. I mean, every time from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, I would always either catch up, or if it's live, my television will be on the Madlanga Commission. So there've been some incredible moments there. Do you miss those commissions? Have you moved to the Nkabinde inquiry? What's really captured your attention, and how did you navigate work and school if you're studying with, of course, following and getting the latest from these commissions?
Hey Clem, so on the Madlanga note, yes, I am experiencing withdrawal syndromes. I don't know what to do with myself during the day. Hopping around radio stations. But while we're on that, can we give props to the Madlanga Commission for putting black women advocates out there? I mean, it's been so wonderful to watch, and big up to that.
And the team, I miss Madlanga because just the hearings, when they stopped the hearings, I just didn't know what to do on a Monday. So yeah, but with the renewal of the ANC. Yeah, I don't know, like the renewal of the ANC is a joke. If you think about when Cyril started with the renewal thing, brand, if I can put it that way, how much money have we lost? How many ANC people have they been implicated in a scandal, another scandal? So there's no renewal. There's just playing with people's emotion here. There's no renewal at all. None whatsoever. There isn't. It's just a joke. It's just a joke.
Morning, Clement. ANC, what is it that they're trying to renew? How can you try to renew something while your president is accused of being found with dollars? Yet again, some leaders in the NEC members are still accused of corruption, but yet they are still there. They are still there. So what is it that you're trying to renew? They're just trying to renew something that is dead. The ANC won't come back.
But guys, let's be fair a bit. Are you telling me that you have not picked up anything the ANC has done, as small as it can be, it may be, that suggests to you that the party is trying to renew itself? Maybe take the step aside resolution, maybe. The step aside resolution. Isn't that maybe perhaps a sign of renewal? Because the ANC claims that through that, they are demonstrating that once somebody has been charged, the organization's position is that they've got to step aside from party activities. Like, Malusi Kigaba, for instance, is not engaging in party activities, if I'm not mistaken, because of the step aside rule. Look at Senzo Mkhunu. Didn't he take leave or take time from party activities from the ANC? Because of the allegations that he's facing, he wants to focus on that, but you don't want to also drag the organization. I was surprised to see Bekele at the NGC. What a brave man. Huh? He rocked up at the NGC. I saw videos of journalists trying to speak to him on day one, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I was like, like he couldn't even be at home and decide to watch it from, follow it from television. He rocked up there. But I think that it would be unfair of us to think the ANC has not done a single thing to try this process of renewal. I mean, and look, I agree. I've always criticized the ANC about talking about the renewal agenda, but being very slow on implementation. The Integrity Commission and the teeth or lack thereof of the Integrity Commission and what that actually means. I just think that it's so loud. Like the ANC is so loud about this buzzword, but it's quite slow when it comes to implementation. And maybe they've got some really solid things on paper that speaks to the issue of renewal, but the party is not renewing itself fully, as we have been told over the last over 10 years or so, that this is a path that the organization has taken. And there are also lots of things that are happening that make you wonder, is this organization really serious about renewal?
Good morning, Mr. Stylish Manyathela. To tell you the truth, Manyathela, I think the ANC is a bit too late. They are very, very late. I don't think, if South Africans are thinking, if South Africans are in their right mind at this point, ANC should not even come back. The only thing that is disturbing South Africans is, okay, if we are not voting for the ANC, then who? That's the challenge that we have as South Africans. Who are we putting in? But so far, South Africans have been failed by the ANC. It looks so bad, and you can even see the people in power. They are very corrupt. Every day we learn a new thing. I mean, it's bad, Clement. They're a bit too late. I don't know what we're gonna do, but they're late. Matlhatse in Midrand.
Clement, I just want to say, this is Reggie. I just want to say to you, there is no renewal that's going to work, guys. We just need to throw the bath water with the baby, with the ANC. It's really not going to work. What are we hoping for, guys? I think what the Commission of Inquiry, the one that we saw recently, or we experienced recently, the Madlanga with the ad hoc committee of the parliament have demonstrated, is that we really just need a new government. We need to clean up everything because the road goes really deep. So there is no renewal that's going to work. And the funny part, Clement, is how do you trust a party that is too broke to pay its staff? Like, it's so funny. Like, if they are so broke to pay their staff, imagine the greed in there, right? How would they actually be able to take care of the entire population? Interesting.
Clement, good morning. Renewal for the ANC is impossible because this organization, in my view, was organized and designed for the comrades, never for the people. And therefore, people are unhappy with how ANC run the state affairs. And they have been given 30 years and they blew so many opportunities to improve and transform the lives of ordinary people of South Africa. So they must just forget the support will obviously dwindle because people are unhappy and that's it. They must forget it. Anonymous.
Yeah, in fact, I saw The Citizen is running an article with the headline, ANC becoming a rural party. I think they're basing this on a report by the Secretary General of the ANC, but also how the analysts they have spoken to are reading that report, which looks at just the support of the organization in the various provinces. Let's go to your calls now. Cindy, you're calling us from Kagiso. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement.
Hey, Tara.
You know, if somebody can define renewal for me in the context of the ANC, to me, I think that will also assist me. You know, the people who want renewal, the very same person, the president, let's start with him because he's the president of the party. He himself doesn't have integrity. You know, look at the Pala. Look what the ANC is doing to suppress that. Look the shenanigans that is involved in. The CR17 where he seals documents. Where is the integrity there? The people that are in his cabinet who are appointed to be, some of them questionable, and they are running the government. You know, the ANC has this thing of saying you step aside if you are charged, but you can stay in government. So you're not good enough to be in the ANC if you are charged, but you are good enough to be in government and run the institutions of this country. So there's no integrity in the ANC, but they want renewal. They've been singing that song of renewal, I don't know for how long, and they are saying renewal of the ANC. What about the rest of the country? And you asked the question, a very important question, that can you point out the single thing that the ANC has done? There's many things that I can point out, but in that same breath, the very same things that they have done are far much less than what they should have done for this country. And everything that we say the ANC has done, it's not because of the ANC's pockets or ANC's money. This is the citizens' money that we're supposed to use productively, but they've been wasting it with this corruption that they have, pocketing the money, and the citizens are suffering because of it. So you talk about integrity, but they themselves, starting with their presidents, they don't have integrity at all. So I'm not sure what this integrity thing
are they all tainted, Cindy? Okay.
About integrity, talk about.
Are they all tainted though? Let's look at the top leadership of the ANC. Let's do a quick test, right? If there's anybody who is without any blemishes. When you look at the president of the ANC, you've already mentioned Pala scandal, right? Monies were being put in a sofa, and I mean there's still no rational explanation for that. And then the deputy president of the ANC, Paul Mashatile, controversy there. He's got children that have somehow benefited from the Gauteng government at some point. And there are investigations to that regard. He's got unexplained wealth from the reports that we've seen, but also he is associated with quite problematic characters. He doesn't see anything wrong with having gone to stay at a house of Edwin Sodi, a house at some point that was attached. That was attached because of the corruption allegations that were being investigated in Cape Town. Like, even as a senior leader of the organization, surely you must say, okay, fine, I can still be your friend, but I don't think I want to make it obvious that I somehow am benefiting even from your properties that investigators are still looking into. The Secretary General, the Treasurer General doesn't have any scandals, does he? The Deputy Secretary General, Nomvula Mokonyane, well, we know about Bosasa. Gwedeman Tasha, the chairperson, we know about Bosasa, how he benefited. So who's without any controversy there? I think for now I can only point out to the Treasurer General of the ANC and the second Deputy President of the ANC, Ramakgopa.
I'm glad you're answering your own question.
I am actually. I realize it.
You are actually answering what you just asked me, because there's no way of getting away from this thing. They are all tainted, and including when Clement, just my last point, including by knowing exactly what the others are doing, and you keep quiet by just keeping quiet and not saying anything. They can cover for each other. Ufikile Mbalula once told us that we actually protected Zuma, knowing very well that he's guilty of using state money for Ingad. We kept quiet.
Maybe that was before renewal.
As Ramaphosa leaves, they're going to say things about him. They've been talking renewal since from when? From forever.
Yeah, they have.
Renewal. Now they are talking that they've got this educational whatever, that you need to go and do some course to learn how to have integrity. That thing, you don't learn it from school. You have to have it inside of you.
Absolutely, yeah. Conscience. Sindile, thank you so much for your call in Kagiso. So, the top leadership of the ANC, let me ask the same question to you. Do you think, the Treasurer General of the ANC, I have not come across any controversies involving the Treasurer General of the ANC. I haven't come across any controversies involving the second Deputy Secretary General of the ANC. Is it Marupin Ramokgopa? I think, yeah. So those are the two. But with Fikile, you'll remember the reports in the past around, was it Setgas? Remember, it was an EWN report back in the day by Barry Bateman. And the report suggested that he had benefited in some way to when he was still sports minister. But he has, of course, disputed that. But there's still questions around how is it that there can be a company that somehow is a beneficiary of the department that you oversee, and somehow they give you a loan or they pay for your trip to go overseas with your family? There have always been questions around that. And there are other controversies perhaps that you can mention. But I think if we're using the top leadership of the ANC just as a litmus test, or even the NEC members, do you think on that basis this renewal is taking shape? It's 9:31.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
24 minutes before 10 o'clock. We are continuing with your calls on 011-883-0702 and the 702 open line. Your WhatsApps on 072-702-1702 about the ANC's renewal agenda. Have you seen it take shape? What has the ANC done that has somehow demonstrated to you that it's serious about the renewal agenda? Or what has it done to show you that this renewal agenda is just a buzzword, but they're not serious about implementing it? Joshua, you're in Alexandra. Good morning.
Morning,
Joshua.
Clement. How are you? Yeah, all right. Lovely. Hey, look, we are currently, it's like the ANC is like a stuck bus that is relying heavily on the South Africans to push it forward. We have ministers that are from the ANC and the president is from the ANC. We have KPIs that they are supposed to be implementing or maybe monitoring. So we can't have a party that we are paying them to do their job while they have to come and say they rely on Madlanga Commission or this commission. The first thing, the primary principles that they're supposed to be implementing these policies and procedures is the very same ANC that is there in government. Mm-hmm. So they were supposed to, they have the KPIs. If you have a minister and he is failing, whether it's a minister of water, whatever, before you can have a whistleblower, they are there. They have the monitoring system that they have to monitor. The KPIs are monitored monthly or quarterly or half yearly or yearly. So before it reaches to a whistleblower, they should have seen that. People were complaining about water, so they wait for a whistleblower. People were complaining about this PPE procurement of these PPEs in Tembisa Hospital. Before it goes to the whistleblowing, the minister, where are the ministers of health? Where were they? So they are the ones to be held accountable before we even look into the whistleblowing people and into Madlanga Commission. Because now we are paying double figures for what they should have done, and even it's worse even when you get Madlanga. It's coming up that amount, these commissions. But while they are the primary principles that we need to hold them accountable, why do we have to pay them the salaries? They're going to hire somebody else to do their job. They are shifting the blame because if they are the ones to hold their own comrades accountable.
Joshua in Alexandra, thank you for your thoughts.
Hi, Clement. Yes, I really do miss watching the Madlanga Commission and the ad hoc committee. So I currently at home, so my job is just to look after the house. So I'll listen even while doing house chores, the laundry, cleaning, and I'm just, when someone says something ridiculous, I'll just walk to the TV and be watching in amazement. But I really do miss it. No, I wasn't really into the Kabinde commission because I don't really think I have a full comprehension of what it's about. Yeah, no, I wasn't that interested. But yeah, I do miss watching the commission and the ad hoc on television.
Well, check out Khomotso Modisa's Instagram and TikTok. So our colleague from AWN, she takes some time to like break down in, a couple of seconds, or a minute or so, in fact, what's been happening at the inquiries, and just helps you understand what each inquiry is about, and also recaps like the most important evidence. So I think if you check some of her videos that she's put up, you'll get a bit of a gist about what the Nkambinde inquiry is about, because it's been getting so hot over the last couple of days. I've played some clips yesterday on the show on the open line. It's really been getting interesting.
Good morning, Clement. Thanks for the great show as always. My friend, you hit it nail on. Yeah, if I can say that. I miss those commissions so badly. I would sit and try and finish everything before they start. So, somehow I was saying maybe they could have let Madlanga at least finish this week, and then we can start again next year. But yes, I miss them. I miss them.
Morning, Clement. Before the commission started, I was of the opinion that the ad hoc committee would be more useful. We would get the truth from the ad hoc committee more than the Madlanga, for the fact that the Madlanga works on recommendations, and the parliamentary ad hoc seemed to have better chance of prosecution at the end of it. But I've since realized that no, if you want to listen to something straightforward and you want to listen to things that are coherent and make sense and are chronological, the Madlanga Commission was to go to. I would work with my AirPods in. I'm streaming on YouTube as I do my work, and now my work days seem bleak for the fact that we were working until the 24th. I miss the Madlanga Commission. I'm not the same, guys. I am having withdrawal symptoms. Can we please get our Madlanga Commission back? Please, guys. Thank you, Clement, for a great show. Clarity from Pretoria.
Thank you, Clarity, for some clarity.
Hi, Clement. Hope you're well. Alani here from the Val. Hey, I miss Madlanga and I miss the ad hoc, I must say. What I miss most, Clement, is the presentation of the chairpersons. Wow. True gentlemen. I miss that kind of leadership from these two processes. And with the ANC, Clement, my brother, for me, they're just repositioning themselves, not renewing. The step-aside rule, it's just for the selected few. It's not consistent. And even when you hear the guys that step aside, they do it voluntarily. So it's not necessarily a policy applied full and full. Thanks, Clement.
Thank you. Kamogelo, you are in Centurion. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Clement.
How are you?
No, Kishab. I just want to comment on this ANC issue. I want to be positive. I think that they are heading in the right direction. It's not going to be immediate. As in the politics, I feel like we still need the ANC to play that role. Because you look at the leadership that's coming up, that ESCOM minister, the Minister of Electricity, he is a positive guy. His track record is good. You look at, Clement Manyathela, when he said over the weekend, he's not going to participate in any new leadership roles and stuff. That's a positive direction to say, no, okay, khanyani, we're getting rid of the oldies and getting new people. So the main thing that I want to say is that why we need ANC is that we still need ANC because you feel like your DA, your EFF, they bring racial tensions in South Africa, or you always feel like the DA is for white people, you always feel like the EFF is for black people. But with ANC, you feel, okay, the diversity is still there, a little bit there, as much as, the corruption is there, but yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Okay, thank you, Kamogelo and Centurion, for your 2 cents.
Good morning, Clement, and good morning to the 702 listeners. I'd like to acknowledge that the ANC is trying to better itself with this renewal program that they are on. I mean, they're like any other party. Yes, they have their faults, but we mustn't let those faults make us think that they have done no good for us as a country. So I want to encourage them to renew themselves, to relook at themselves, so that when they come back as a better party that is focused and willing to improve our lives as South Africans. This is Eugene from Soshanguve. Have a fantastic Wednesday.
Thank you, Eugene. You too. But when are they coming back? I suppose is what I'm asking is, okay, sure, because I agree with you, Eugene, which is why I said earlier, I don't think we're being fair if we say the ANC has done absolutely nothing. In fact, someone tweeted, where's that tweet? Someone says, hey, Clement, are you trying to be the spokesperson for, there. Leo says, Clement, good morning, sir. Good show as always. It seems like you're trying to be the spokesperson for the ANC. No, not at all. I'm just trying to be fair. I'm trying to look at this objectively. I don't think it's fair. It's like people who say, ANC has done nothing. No, that's not true. Like, some of you have a job today because you were able to go to school because of the ANC government. Your NSFAS. Some of you, your children are being paid for. Their tuition fees are paid for by NSFAS. So, some of you are living in homes, or you've lived in homes, or you've got relatives who live in RDP homes. And yes, there are other people who've been waiting on that RDP list for the longest of times. I'm not saying their government was perfect. In fact, far from it. I'm demonstrating that it's not factual to say they've done nothing. Similarly so, I think it's not fair to say they have done nothing in as far as their renewal agenda. Maybe we can argue that they've at least planned for it and it looked good on paper, but they're slow with the implementation. Maybe they've implemented other things like the step-aside resolution, but maybe they've not done it consistently, right? But I do think that they've tried something, but it's just not taking shape. Because I think at the end of the day, this is an organization that believes in collective protection. I mean, the Digital Vibes scandal, when it comes up, you don't have a president who's brave enough to take a decision and say, that's it, you are out of my cabinet. He's not, because he must make political considerations. You've got a president who still keeps David Mahlobo, the very same man that he, through a report that he commissioned, that report came back and said, these people were problematic characters at the State Security Agency. He still somehow appoints them in his cabinet. How serious is he then about the renewal agenda? So I don't think that it's taking shape. It's been over 13 years or so. How many years is it? So many years, over a decade that the ANC has been talking about renewal. How can it be that you and I are still talking about which aspects of renewal have we actually seen, if at all? Hey?
Man Clem, I think there is something to renew. And if they were to face the truth and say, all this dead wood, all these bad apples must be got rid of, make sure that they get prosecuted, then there'll be renewal. They know what they need to renew, but it's just that they sort of entangle themselves into so much corruption and protecting each other and everything. That is what they need to renew. There is something renewable. They just need to face it. Anonymous.
Morning, Clement. Morning, 702. Clement, I beg to differ. There is absolutely zero renewal, and I agree with the last person. How do you renew when on just on an ethical basis, your president has been found with foreign currency to that amount? Let's say the law doesn't speak to it being wrong, but on an ethical basis, there is smoke there. And yet the same person who's implicated in such is supposed to be driving a renewal. There's no renewal in the ANC, Clement. Thank you, Max.
Clement, it's so ironic that people really speak badly of, the ANC or Ramaphosa. When the minister was accused, Senzo, Cyril could have just fired him. But then he set up a commission, people were complaining, the monies will be spent, nothing will happen. But they're every day watching Madlanga then. They're the ones making coffee watching Madlanga. Who did that? Who set up that commission to find out the rot? It would have just fired Nkunu and then we'll just go you know, the day as it goes. But then he did that. But no one is giving him credit. No one is giving him credit. No, man. We must give credit where it's due.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we've given credit where it's due, guys. I think we've really been fair. I mean, even G20, we were praising him. But there's some instances where it's actually what he's supposed to do. I'm sorry. I don't think the president had any choice. And also, firing Minister Mkhunu, as the courts have actually even indicated when the MK party went to court, what are you basing that on? That's why the court said the decision that was taken was legally permissible to put Minister Mkhunu on special leave, whether you disagree or agree with it. But are we trying to set a precedent where wherever there's any allegation that comes up against anybody, then you expect the president to quickly just act? What about you? What happens when you are accused of something? If someone comes, just accuses you of something without even any substantial evidence, and then you're out. So I'm saying in the beginning, the president could argue that, well, I didn't have enough. All I knew was this is what's happening. There are people that are somehow associated with the minister. Therefore, I need more information so that I can make a decision. At this stage, I agree with you. At this stage, there's a lot that's been exposed around the failure of the Minister of Police to actually make the right considerations in as far as the political killing stars team is concerned before taking that decision to disband it immediately. And I don't see how the president still is not going to act against him. I mean, that would be shocking. If the recommendations come out and the president still keeps him in his cabinet, that's going to be wild. But to say that we must praise the president for appointing a commission of inquiry to investigate the possible corruption in the criminal justice system, what else did you expect from him? I don't think he had any choice. We've never been here before where a KZN police commissioner comes to a briefing and says, this is what we have seen and this is what we think is at play. So something has got to give. Either he implements his own somehow independent investigation of sorts and puts together a panel, or he actually becomes transparent and says, let's actually appoint a commission of inquiry that's going to look into these issues. I don't think that's one thing we look at and we say, wow, what an amazing president we have. I think we should expect that from any other president. But to be fair on you, the other presidents we've had before who probably would have actually just ignored the press briefing. Or, to your point, probably could have just moved Senzo Mkhunu or fired him and then continued like nothing happened.
Good morning, Clement and listeners. I think some people's views are so misplaced. ANC members are members of the community. They are not from heaven. They have a right to belong to the ANC and chart their way forward. So whether renewal is a failure or success, the ANC has a right to review itself and see if it can come up with plans that will combat the very corruption that is done by both the members who are in government and the public servant from different political parties. So the ANC is what it is because people are folding their arms. Let them come forward, change, chop, remove whoever they feel what is bad for the society in terms of governance. Thank you. Patoras.
Morning, Clement and the listeners. There's no renewal in ANC. Absolutely, there's nothing. ANC keep on recycling people. Here in Ward 46, we don't know our council. The last time we saw our councillor, it was when he was elected as a councillor. We never seen this guy before. The only thing I can tell you about this guy is a drunkard. That's all I can tell you. ANC is dead, guys. It's dead. Let's forget about ANC. We are where we are because of ANC. People are suffering because of ANC. Crime is there because of ANC. It's only them that they must protect themselves. Only them. Thank you.
Hi, Clement. Your question about the renewal of the ANC, you don't have to look far. You just have to be at the gates of the Birchwood hotel where they're holding this meeting, where there are protesters outside, and you have row after row after row of luxury vehicles driving past people that have not been paid salaries for months and months. How can you have a picture like that and speak about renewal in the same breath? Can they not take an example of Helen Ziller, who drives a Toyota? I think you said she drives a Toyota. That is a good example of renewing and trying to save money and trying to be prudent with your finances. Thanks, this is Cynthia.
Hi, Clement. It just touched something that it's frustrating me at the moment. Yes, the ANC has done a lot. At the same time, has done a lot of mess. Clement, I'm a student. I'm frustrated about NFSAS. My tuition is not paid. I don't know the coming year if I'm going to be able to continue with my studies. Yes, ANC have done a lot of great things and also messed up on the same great things, the same ANC. So I'm happy in the country that we'll have, going forward, we'll have coalition government. There will never be a one-party state anymore.
There's a